Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm so happy you're here. So let's talk about, I want to delve in a little bit deeper into the statements and the difference of statements on Israel, the situation in Israel, the recent terrorist attack from Hamas that's claimed well over 250 lives. Um, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle made a statement, and I recently put out a video where we talked about that a little bit, and I really wanted to make the focus on what they said and not about trolls, not about like if there was some competition, if the internet was trying to make this some competition between Prince Harry and Meghan Markle and Will and Kate. I wanted it to really just be organic Sussex, right? Well, now I want to talk about it. I wanted to kind of make this its own video and treat it as sensitive as it deserves to be treated and not make it crass, because I think when we start comparing Will and Kate to Meghan and Harry and all that stuff, it can have the tendency to kind of become crass really quick. So basically, you guys already know that there was a difference of their, well, both of the parties, the Wellses and the Sussexes, individually or respectively, each of the couples put out their own official statements concerning the attacks. And of course, the tabloid media tried to make that a competition between the two of them, mentioning things like, you know, the timing of it, the dates, or the time of the day that they both put it out, because they both put out their statements in the same day. And Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, I don't think that this was a competition thing for them, but of course, that's what the tabloid media made it out to be, right? So listen to this. So we talked about the weight and the heaviness and the strength and the saying so much through saying so little of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's statement, right? You know, that we condemn all acts of terrorism. Um, how did they say it? They said it so geniusly. Stand against all acts of terrorism. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm. Wow. So King Charles's statement was, um, well, listen to this. He said, "This is a situation His Majesty is extremely concerned about, and he has asked to be kept actively updated. His thoughts and prayers are with all of those suffering, particularly those who have lost loved ones, but also those actively involved as we speak. His Majesty is appalled by and condemns the barbaric acts of terrorism in Israel." Okay. Let me go back to the article we read together. Um, the article that we read together that laid it all out, because I felt like we saw that. What was it? Town and Country Mag. Okay, at the Archewell Foundation with Prince Harry and Meghan, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, we stand against all acts of terrorism and brutality. It was really key for me to put that in here, because the Town and Country, I think it puts more pieces of it. All acts of terrorism and brutality. Okay? And you heard what King Charles' statement was, which was, it was nice. But I just feel like I feel like the barbaric um I feel like the barbaric element in King Charles's statement, and how is it that William and Kate put it? William and Kate's said, the horrors inflicted by Hamas's terrorist attack upon Israel are appalling. Okay, so there you go. Like, barbaric, appalling. And while I agree with those, it just sounds, I don't know. I really don't know. You guys put it in the comments. Let me know if you are able to verbalize what's swirling around in my head. I don't want to say it sounds pompous because, I mean, terrorists don't deserve any kind of like special treatment or anything. But it's just knowing the history of Britain, and I know I harp on about this a lot, but knowing the history of Britain, knowing the backgrounds of colonialism, slavery, this is barbaric. You know, I just hear that kind of voice, like, this is appalling and this is barbaric on so many levels. And, you know, it's just like the parts where they're sending out their messages of love and holding out hope for the loved ones. I definitely think that that's my favorite part, if you could call a favorite part within this, because this whole situation is horrible. But Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. You know, I think the other thing that's battering around in my head is also the fact that, you know, we've said for a really long time concerning Prince Harry and Meghan Markle vis-a-vis the racism that she endured in the UK and the mental health issues that Prince Harry had to go through in the face of all that. What we've been saying this whole time, what have we been saying? We wish that Buckingham Palace would have just put out one succinct statement. We condemn racism in all forms. Donate, commit yourself to anti-racist charities, do the work, right? We've been saying that. That was Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's statement. We condemn brutality and terror. We condemn terrorism and brutality in all forms. And again, that in all forms says we condemn what Hamas has enacted on Israel, but we also condemn terrorism, racism, xenophobia that Israel, primarily under Benjamin Netanyahu, what they have been doing. Listen to this from NDTV World with an article entitled King Charles, Prince William, and Kate Middleton condemn Hamas attacks, voice support for Israel. This article was published on October 12, 2023 by Nikhil Pandey. It says the British royal family is expressing solidarity with Israel following the unexpected attacks by Hamas operatives that resulted in the deaths more than 1,000 civilians over the past weekend. Oh my God. The last time I checked, it was over 250 to count. Now 1,000. Oh my God. Oh my God. While the king and other senior royal members of the royal family have denounced the attacks, Prince William and Kate Middleton issued a joint statement on Wednesday evening, strongly condemning Hamas's brutal act of violence. Now, pause there. Let me just say this. Again, I think even as Sussex Squad, we have to keep in mind that Kate Middleton, Prince William, King Charles, Camilla, they are all active duty royals in the UK. And to a certain extent, they have to play the ball game, you know, even though it's weird, and they really need to adapt that their monarchical structure for a modern era. But they do sovereign over this nation, and as long as that nation wants that by majority, you know, I get it. They've got to be a little bit more buttoned up. I get that. how can you do this for this terrorist attack, but you couldn't do it for your own people? I guess that's really the stench in it that Sussex Squad is getting to, is that it's hypocritical. It's really unfortunate. It says the BBC reported, quoting palace sources, that the king was appalled and condemned the barbaric acts of terrorism in Israel. The Prince and Princess of Wales are profoundly distressed by the events since strikes began on Saturday, according to their spokesperson. He said the couple believes all Israelis and Palestinians will be stalked by grief, fear, and anger. Even in that, just the way that they're speaking. And it's not just a British thing. I mean, Prince Harry is British, but he speaks more in a more colloquial way. This is not the time for posturing, I guess that's what it really comes down. It's not the time for appalling and barbaric, it's just, that's not the time for this. But I get it. I get it. And I understand it. I don't necessarily agree with it, but I get it. It says the spokesperson for the Prince and Princess of Wales says the Prince and Princess of Wales are profoundly distressed by the devastating events that have unfolded in the past few days. The horrors inflicted by Hamas's terrorist attack upon Israel are appalling. They utterly condemn them. The statement shared on microblogging platform X, formerly known as Twitter, read. I also feel like Twitter is, I think Twitter needs to go under, I really do. I feel like it's exacerbating the world's problems. And I wouldn't be sad to see it go bye-bye. I have a profile, but I mean, bye. I feel like the health and the sanity of the world is more important. As Israel exercises its right to self-defense, all Israelis and Palestinians will continue to be stalked by grief, fear, and anger in the time to come. They hold all the victims, their families, and their friends in their hearts and minds. Those the Prince of Wales met in 2018 overwhelmingly shared a common hope, that of a better future. In the midst of such terrible suffering, the Prince and Princess continue to share that hope without reservation. That's nice. That's better. Wow, 1,200 people. Good Lord. Good Lord. It just goes on further to talk about how Hamas really targeted Gaza. But listen to this. So, that in comparison to this, Meghan Markle and Prince Harry condemn all acts of terrorism after surprise Hamas attack. This is from People, and it was written by Simon Perry, and this was published on October 12, 2023. It says, Meghan Markle and Prince Harry are speaking out about the ongoing situation in Israel. In a statement headlined with heavy hearts posted on their Archewell Foundation website, Wednesday, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex said they stand against all acts of terrorism following the surprise attacks by Hamas militants, which killed over 1,000 civilians last weekend. We are supporting our partners and organizations on the front lines in Israel to provide the urgent aid needed and to help all innocent victims of this unconscionable level of human suffering, said Meghan 42, Harry 39. Of course, it mentions it comes after Kate Middleton and Prince William's message. Everything has to be under the shadow of the senior royals. Late on Wednesday, William and Kate's spokesperson said in a statement, the same thing that we just read. The article goes on to say it also recalled William's visit to Israel in 2018, adding those the Prince of Wales met in 2018 overwhelmingly shared a common hope, that of a better future, it continued. In the midst of such terrible suffering, the Prince and Princess continue to share hope without reservation. It goes on to say William traveled solo to Israel, Jordan, and the occupied Palestinian territories for 4 days in June 2018 and stopped in Tel Aviv, Ramallah, and Jerusalem. And then it goes on to say King Charles's statement, And it ends with saying interfaith relations and interfaith community dialogue of the national and international level have been close to Charles's heart throughout life and were key themes woven into his May coronation and related celebrations. The king is expected to signal his solidarity and support for those in Britain who have loved ones caught up in the horrific event. Talks about him visiting. Now let me say this. While I do not condone Hamas's attack at all, I mean, have you seen the crazy, divisive, polarizing stuff that Netanyahu has been saying all year? Seeing how he's been trying to eradicate Muslim people out of his country, period. Showing a map that didn't even show Palestine existing anymore. Essentially saying purebred Jews in Israel are the dominating class, and, you know, just trying to wipe out the other history of that area. History that goes back a long time. You know, I feel like we have got to address colonialism and slavery. Black people, people of color, and woke white people keep saying it over and over and over again. And we get surprised when stuff like this happens. You know, Britain doesn't want to ruffle the feathers too much when things pop up here and there. But without them taking a very solid stance and saying, we understand our past, slavery was wrong, we'll try to make amends today. Stuff like this is going to keep happening. You know, you can't be halfway in. And if you're going to be halfway in, at least don't run in with words like barbaric and appalling. Talk about your visit to the country in which you probably stayed at, you know, 5-star accommodations. It just doesn't work. I know I'm probably biased to this because I'm actually a fan of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. But every time I come back to their statement of, what is it? We condemn all acts of terrorism and brutality. It just keeps looping in my head again and again and again, because to me that says something about the whole gestalt of the thing, about the whole thing, about, yes, Hamas has done this terrible thing to Israel, but these so-called dominant classes, these people and groups of people that have labeled themselves as dominant classes throughout history, over and over and over again, often as the result of colonialism. And Britain is not the only nation sprung up out of colonialism. There's also Arabic nations sprung up out of colonialism. But as long as we don't address slavery and colonialism, things like these happen all the time, you know? I feel like Prince Harry and Meghan Markle were really brave to do that, and it was short, sweet, simple, succinct. There was love in it. But I think that there was some bleeding in between the lines. I think that there were some gray areas and less black and white than there were in William and Kate's and King Charles' statements. But the most ironic, do I want to say ironic, or maybe the funniest thing about this is that King Charles, Prince William, Kate Middleton, they actually have some wiggle room to forge real change with this. They know the right people and operate within the right circles to forge policy in this. The question is, will they do it? Hands out of pockets. Will they do it? I guess we'll see. But I want to know what y'all think. Let me know, and I'll talk to y'all next time. Okay, much love. Bye.